Hello, hello, hello. Doing a Q&A on this Monday. Gonna go ahead and probably just jump right into it. Got a good amount of questions here that come in through all kinds of format. I guess everything from customer service to Instagram, even just prior events or talks that I've given. So don't always get to all of the questions. So I'm just going to try to see if I can get to some of them here. All right, so here's a question. Someone says, how long did it take you to start your company? Well, that's a good question. Started question, let's see, I'm just going to put this in here too. Let's see, put our website in here just in case anyone joins and you don't know about us. And if anyone has any questions when you join, also please just let me know. Not sure how you change the description of the live, so maybe if someone knows how to do that, let me know in the comment or let me know. All right, so how long did it take you to start your company? Our company started technically in 2014 as an LLC. So on paper, we had started it, but we weren't actually doing a lot of actual like production or any real like selling, I would say. It was more so just like sourcing, trying to find factories to help us out, looking for just the best way to launch. And so our actual launch technically came in 2015. So we launched on I guess you could say in real life, we launched at an art gallery. We surveyed a bunch of customers or potential customers and tried to find, what was that thing that they were looking for? How could we be valuable? And then once we had all of the information, we figured out that there were two things that customers wanted from us. One, they wanted either a duffel bag from us or they wanted a backpack from us. And they wanted us to improve the design. So what we did was we made a duffel and a backpack in one bag. So that's our Earth Bag Premium. So if you are on our website, you'll see it. It's a travel bag. It has a 3-way zipper system, 2 bags in one, lots of storage. It's still to this day, really popular for us. And so we had the concept for it, and we basically just did an event where we hosted, a couple hundred people. And we basically decided that we were going to send a bunch of mailers out and try to get people to come to this event. So we set the event up, and it was a really good response. We pre-sold a handful of bags at that event, and that also gave us some time to get started. So we knew we were going to do a Kickstarter later, and that's what we did. We launched on Kickstarter. But before we went to Kickstarter, we had a decent email list and a decent following, I guess you could say, of people that were going to know that we were launching. And then we went to Kickstarter, and so Kickstarter brought people to us also. So it was not entirely all Kickstarter, and it wasn't all of us. It was we had to make the audience, we had to do the work, and then from there it brought people to Kickstarter. So all of this was kind of happening, I'd say, in 18 months roughly before Kickstarter. We were doing blog outreach for the first 3 months or so, 3 to 6 months, just to get the word out. Hey, Sid. What we could in terms of outreach to get people involved and to get people to know that we were going to be dropping this new product. And then once we dropped the product, people started just on our list. They started purchasing And it took us about 5 months to get the very first bag out the door. And that was because we had only one sample at the time. So if you can imagine, we launched the whole company with one product, one sample. We literally didn't have like a collection or anything. We just had one product that we had pre-sold. So then we had to go and make it, which meant we had to get the materials to make it too. So fortunately, we were able to source the materials that we were making the bags from, and then we also were able to recycle other materials that we were going to combine with the materials that we purchased. So all of that took time. Fortunately, all the customers that backed us pretty much stayed with us throughout that time frame, and we were able to deliver like right before the holiday. Because we ran the crowdfunding campaign like in the summer, and we delivered it in time pretty much for the holidays. And then once we had the inventory, we then went out and started doing live events. So the first live event we did was at Bloomingdale's in New York. So we did live events at the 59th Street location, and that was right around the holidays. It was just the first time that the product was ever in the world, really, outside of like Kickstarter or the internet. And it was, I'd say all of that to say, going back to the original question, how long did it take to start the company? Technically it took about a year to 2 years just to start the company, because we had to design the product, we had to build an audience, we had to figure out who was going to be our ideal customer and that sort of thing, and then from there we could launch. All right, so next question is, how can you tell if your idea is good or can catch the consumer interest? I'd say this is like somewhat of a moving target. It really depends on your skill set and what you offer. But for us, we could tell that our idea was good when people started pre-ordering it. I mentioned that we basically set up to have a pre-order so that if anyone was interested, they could pre-order it. And realistically, if someone really wants something and they're willing to like put down on it, that's usually when like you have some type of, there's something there. It's just like I think it's Tesla. They did the was it like $1,000 deposit on the Cybertruck, and I don't know what the status of that is or whatnot, but that's a good indicator of like interest, pretty much. Like someone that's willing to like put down something on a product that's like potentially years away in the making. That's kind of like a positive sign. So it could be anything that you're selling. If you have like some of that early interest, you're starting to catch the interest. The other way is like more data driven and more scientific, I guess you could say, where there's lots of websites like Answer the Public's a good one to find out what people want. There's I think it's called OpenAI, open.ai, which kind of has a nice tool in there to figure things out. Amazon reviews, YouTube reviews, brand reviews. These are all kind of like indicators of what people are looking for, what they might be interested in. And so that's another way to figure out if your idea is good and can catch the interest. Social media, finding ways to find interested buyers through DM. If someone's willing to send you a DM, or someone's willing to comment like sold, these little things like that, that's really a good way to find out if people are interested in what you want to sell. What advice do you have for students who are interested in fashion? I think it really depends on where you want to work in fashion. I didn't technically work in, or I never like was a student of fashion like at a formal institution. But I do think that's still a very powerful way to like break in and just learn the trade, figure out like where your skill set like actually applies. Now I think definitely more than ever, YouTube is a really great place to learn. Instagram is also a really good place here to network with other people that are already in fashion or doing what you want to do. I definitely believe in the direct message advice of like sending someone a direct message that you want to work for, and like offering to handle customer service for them, or offering to send direct messages for them, or offering to help with like wholesale accounts, or whatever it is that your skill set is. I think just like getting involved and getting your hands dirty is definitely a good way. I know that's how I kind of started. I just was working in retail stores, and then found some different stores that I wanted to work for, and I was technically willing to work for free, but they did agree to pay me, so it actually worked out. So as long as you have something that you're really passionate about within the space, I think everything else will kind of fall into place. But I do think there's lots of opportunity to do it, like working in the system, so to speak, and like going through formal school and like training and like networking. And then I think you can also do it like more outside the lines a little bit, and just like create your own opportunities more so like as an entrepreneur, I guess. All right, what is something you hope to achieve in the future? We hope to achieve over 100 million pounds of trash. We want to take that out of landfills. We want to create products that create awareness, that are built from 95% or higher upcycled materials, while continuing to give value to customers. So we want to make sure that we're making a great product that people love and they can carry, but at the same time, we want that product and that interaction and engagement to expand the awareness of the mission and what we do. So not necessarily only focused on product, not necessarily all education, but we want to kind of like blend those two and create value that way. Do you have a store? We do. We have a store available at hamiltonperkins.com. Before, we have had pop-up stores. We've done like really small events. We've done full line like retail build outs before, and currently at the moment we are operating online, so you can check us out there. You can check us out here also on Instagram. All of our products are available for shopping here on Instagram, so I guess you're able to purchase through Instagram shopping. I know that it looks like the internet's a little spotty, but we'll push through. Would you consider a virtual tour of one of your manufacturing facilities? It's funny you ask. We definitely will. We're definitely looking at more, as I said before, like that education piece. So bringing in more, just around what we do, showing the process, showing how we get, the materials, how we make it. So there will be more of that to come. You can also check some of our Instagram reels and stories. We'll be sharing more behind the scenes there. Do you get a lot of referrals from your customers and partners? Yeah, I'd say we do. Our customer base definitely is pretty much exclusively where we look for materials these days. So in the beginning, we were trying to get materials from, we never really had an issue, I'd say, like getting materials. Maybe if we were looking to get materials that had a certain, let's say, for a certain client or partner. But, the way it is now, we typically don't have an issue like finding materials. We have a ton of individual customers that shop on our website and direct, and then we have corporate partners that they buy from us in bulk, and then with that bulk order, they supply us with material that then we can take that and turn that into bags, either for their order or, let's say, for their order plus our collection. So that is, that's pretty much how that works. Referrals for us are, yes sir, appreciate you said. I would say, the easy part is pretty much the sourcing, and then, the logistics, the warehousing, all those things are what becomes probably, that's the tricky part for us. Let's see. What is your social media strategy? So our social media strategy at the moment is evolving. I think I mentioned it before. We initially did a lot of I probably didn't mention this, but before we did a lot of content creation, just like lifestyle content creation, which has been really huge for us, just like showing the products, in different locations, showing them, just in different, demonstrating them and things like that. These days, we're kind of blending that with, as much like, I'd say like customer, driven, the technical term is like UGC, or like user generated content. That pretty much is showing, as much of the product off as possible, like with customers. So, there's nothing more powerful than that, in our view, just to, show like people every day, like using the product, traveling with the product, taking it to the gym, stuff like that, and mixing that in with like what we're doing, on the management team to, make everything work and get things out the door. So I would say, right now we're probably doing some kind of a hybrid. We're trying to, create more awareness with content, and then also, working with content creators, customers. I'd say customers are becoming more and more like involved in what we do. What's next for your brand? Do you hope to include other products in your collection besides the bags? In our foundation, and we've also introduced shirts. So basic shirts made from upcycled material. And the future for us is definitely like additional categories, and kind of like getting into some other interesting things, because we take a lot of old clothing and stuff like that and then turn that into stuff. So we do look forward to showing you guys some stuff that we've been working on in that space. All right, so let's say, how has today's climate affect your business? Let's see, are you conscious about people that you choose to work with? And yeah, totally. I would say, we're very conscious of, partners that are, involved in initiatives that, are aligned, because, the reality is if we're not aligned with the partners that we collaborate with, it's going to be very difficult for us to, get this across the finish line. It does take, collaboration. It takes commitment. It takes consistency, and these are all things that, with the right people at the table, we're able to like accomplish. This isn't like something that just happens. This is something that a company or a partner has to be very intentional about. It has to be thought out. There has to be kind of like a vision for where this goes, and it can't just kind of be something that's thought of like more of an afterthought. So that's something that right there kind of allows certain brands to separate themselves in terms of what they're doing in terms of sustainability, or what they're doing in terms of upcycling, and just all of the things that they want to accomplish. So I would say, yeah, it's definitely like a kind of a self, I'm not going to say, it's like a self-filtering process, I would say, because you see the companies that are really the ones that they're up to do this work. They're the ones that put the resources and the people, most importantly, behind it. Let's see. So I'll take probably like one more before I have to jump here, and maybe I can see if I can get back on, a little bit either later or maybe tomorrow. All right, so if you could pick two things to change through your company, what would those two things be? I would say, the first would be like the awareness about how to take stuff that's normally going in trash and then turning that into some products that are more useful or of higher use than they were before. I think that's like our number one thing that we're really out to do. And as far as, what else, it's probably just it's the awareness part of it, because you don't necessarily, sometimes it's about like, one person can be influential, over, 100,000 people. If you think about, like, I guess how the world is set up today, there's, whatever, 7 billion plus people, but like how many of those people are like influential, have a voice in these type of things? So if you really think about the type of work that we're in, we're trying to create the awareness, and we're trying to be some entity in that space that impacts change positively. So I think for us it would be to that's something that we hope to change through our product. We hope to change through our product more awareness around the space, why it's important, why it matters, that kind of thing, and at the same time open up the doors kind of like for it to happen more people to be involved, more brands, because we believe that that's how the collaboration will be the most effective. It's by creating something in the beginning that people have a chance to enjoy and appreciate, but then that thing then creates an awareness for more people to see that, oh yeah, we can do this, or we can make this, we could do something at home, or we could, I could go and work for a company that's doing something, or I could enable or empower a company, even just like at the company that I work at, I could, recommend them to work with the company I work with. So that's pretty much how we see change, and those are the things, like probably like top 1 or 2 things that we want to change through our work. All right, so this has been good. Went for solid, like, I don't know how many questions that was, but I'll try to see if I can get some more done. Hope you're having a good week, and we'll get back on here soon.